gunshots, people doing dumb decisions, a young Tyrone, and a trigger warning where I could barely see the end of the episode. Welcome back to Marvelous Mondays, where we're looking at Cloak and Dagger, Season 2, Episode 4 of Rabbit Hold, where for the first time in a long while, because I know for y'all it's just been, well, last week felt different. Well, guess what, bitch? We got 3 different storylines to talk about in this bitch. Now I know y'all have just been like, but we had that in episode 2. Did we though? Or was it just the same story split into 2 different narratives to make it be disguised as a third narrative? Anyway, we have a lot to unpack, and I'm gonna give Shannon some time to look over her notes, because I'm gonna talk about the setup thing as well as Ty's narrative.
Wow. Running away from bullets.
Can I just say a quote that Tandy said that made me laugh in the very, very beginning? I think you know where I'm going to go with this. They're arguing about the whole situation that happened with Mary, about how it ended and stuff. And Tandy just said the quote, "She went inside you." Ma'am, stop. Anyway.
That still had me like, pause. Huh? That was like one of those moments where I talk to gamers, they're like, Kingdom Hearts is not that weird, and I'm like, so a bunch of grown adults are inside teenagers.
Huh?
That's what I'm saying. That's part of the story. People just like, it's not that disgusting. It's just that a grown man put a piece of himself inside of a, I'm gonna stop there.
Say, stop you right there, right now.
So, the whole setup for this episode right now is Tandy is freaking out because she is seeing that Tyrone has an ability that makes everyone question, would Cloak be the most terrifying villain in Marvel? The answer is yes. The answer is fucking yes. He can amplify fears, teleport you into the dark force, transport you somewhere and just drop you to your death regardless if you can fly or not because he's putting you in fear state. This man is terrifying. He is goddamn horrifying. But regardless, she wants to go into the Dark Force because Tyrone is a portal for the Dark Force. Again, very terrifying. So she's like, I'm gonna make you feel fear. The only thing is, Ty is not afraid of Tandy. Ty knows way too much about Tandy, but she's like, what if I had your powers to try and bring Connors out? That would be so fucking terrifying, huh? I would just slit his throat, be nothing about it. That whole thing is like, first of all, Tandy, you don't make the threat work because your boyfriend needs Connors alive because he has to have his name cleared of being a cop killer, which he can't do if he dead. And secondly, he is an 18-year-old black man in the dirty South. The dirty motherfucking South. Okay? How the fuck is this man going to, and I quote, get his lick back and go home if Connors ends up dead, regardless of how it looks? And then all of the New Orleans Police Department's just like, it's this black man, this 18-year-old black man in Louisiana. We can do that shit, cause it's the dirty South. We don't give a fuck about your rights down here, cause it's the dirty motherfucking South. We gonna lock you up forever. So there is a lose-lose situation that Tandy keeps forgetting cause she has white privilege, which hits Ty of like, if I fuck up, my parents are gonna be in danger. That's even more of a fuck up, because Tandy is blinded by white privilege. But because Ty is born a minority, like Native Americans, Asian people, Hispanics, Indians, Polynesians, all the big heavy hitters and those that don't really have names. Tandy gets teleported to the Dark Force, and Tyrone is like, well, if my girlfriend is busy, I might as well try to do something, maybe play Scrabble. And that's when Bridget's useless ass is calling to say, hey, Ty, remember those people that we arrested? Yeah. Well, We kept your wanted poster up on the bulletin board, yeah, and now they're gonna go to your house. Huh?
What do you mean?
You supposed to be smart cops. Why would you put my shit there where any criminal could just look at it that has beef with me and then threaten my family? Shouldn't that be somewhere private? Yeah, but your mom and dad might be in trouble. Even though I feel like your mom and dad are separated, probably not. I don't know what's going on in the narrative anymore. It's a lot to unpack about if they are or aren't. It's not that important right now. What's important is...
Yeah, I kind of have questions, but it's fine.
It's fine. We'll address it another time. But Tyrone gets to his house to try and save his mom because the Uptown Block Kings, dumbest name for a gang, is like, we gonna break into Ty's house, kill his parents, and maybe kill him. So he's like, okay, Mom, there's danger here. I'm not going to talk about the files that are not going to help me because a white man has gone missing because I sent him to the Dark Force. But I can get you out of here even though you about to make my problems worse. But then there's a problem from Tandy's narrative where it's like, well, Ty, I got good news and bad news. The bad news is your ass is going to be human again. The good news is, your ass is human again.
My God.
So, because of something that we're going to address for Tandy's perspective, Tyrone's powers don't work because they have a symbiotic relationship. For all of you guys that are big Marvel Rivals fans, you would know this. Especially since, as soon as Shan has some stuff figured out, I'm going to be joining her, our other sibling, and her wife in some stuff for Marvel Rivals as like a group hangout affair, so they can help me learn the game officially.
I mean, I'm not good at it, but you know. We should play. Oh my God.
But regardless, Ty has to get his mom somewhere safe. But how is he going to get his mom safe? Well, he can't, because his mom is trying to still act like, oh, you just a useless baby. I gotta make sure that your useless self doesn't do anything stupid to get caught by the police. Not knowing that Tyrone has been evading the police long before he was ever wanted for allegedly killing 2 cops. One of them was killed by Connors. The other one he just, devoured with smoky tendrils.
They went inside him. Wait
Pause.
a minute.
Pause. Anywho, so while they're bickering, a guy that Tyrone saved in the last episode, this snitch-ass motherfucking bitch, decides, hey, I'm gonna still rock with the gang. This gang that's been in my neighborhood and probably made it worse by trafficking drugs, facilitating guns from the piers, and doing sex trafficking that ends up shipping off women to multiple countries and other places across the United States for high profit. A bunch of people from the dark web and from the dark profitable market would know way too much about to actually give you the pricing for it on a very strange rainy day in one secret location. How do I know this? You don't fucking want to know. You never want to fucking know. So he, with his simple bitch ass, calls to be like, so gang, they're on the trolley heading somewhere, but they gonna head somewhere else. I'm gonna be a snitch. I'm gonna be Tekashi 6ix9ine and drop a dime. He ends up dropping a dime when Tyrone leads his mom to a place that he learned from some girl named Evita about a place where 3 vampire nuns were held up because they were doing something for the King of France in order to do something for the city of New Orleans. What's the story? It's not that important. Watch the episode. The story is very riveting if you want to hear about it for kind of cultural history, if not a local rumor in New Orleans, but it's not prevalent to our review. Regardless, because of Snitchy McGee who's trying to run his fucking mouth acting like he's Tekashi 6ix9ine in a fucking court trial, he's trying to hold up a gun, but he's rattling, he's shaking, and Tyrone has been shot enough times to know anyone who's rattling and shaking, they're not going to shoot a gun. If they are, they're going to shoot themselves, and that's way worse. So he talks him down. Then his mom interferes to talk him down some more to confuse him, but Ty was already about to disarm him as is. So, was the mom necessary? Not really. Was it a nice touching moment for her to be there for her son? Of course it was. But was she needed? No, her son can take care of himself. Powers or not. Regardless, because of his snitching ass already trying to drop a dime, Tyre has to think on his feet of like, okay, how do I get rid of a gang of black people? I know. 5-0. The greatest weapon of white people. So he first tries to say, I'm not gonna really have the police, and then calls up Bridget, aka Useless, to try and get the police to show up and not do their actual job because they're like, well, this unarmed 18-year-old to where we have falsified evidence, people that were going around trying to help Connors where we've seen that he falsifies evidence, he is a terrible cop, and he's lied multiple times. Yeah, we're gonna believe him because he's gone missing, and we're gonna just blame an 18-year-old because he's black. So we're just gonna have a SWAT team try to arrest an innocent 18-year-old black man that risked his life to expose Connors, and then Connors went to do something else. Thank you, police department! You have once again showcased why I don't trust you. So anyway, Tandy's whole plotline ends to where Tyrone finally has his powers back in order to teleport himself to the church, where Tandy pops out with a familiar person that will be addressed in just a few moments, who breaks a window to escape, and Ty is wondering, what the fuck just happened? And now, we will address what just happened because I think I gave my little sister enough time to look over her notes. Take it away for the light force side there, Shan.
Okay, so we're going to take this back a note. We're going to start from the beginning. So after Tandy kind of blows up and questions Ty about what the fuck happened, tells him that he basically has a girl inside him. Wait a minute.
Pause.
She tells him that he needs to start being afraid, which, I mean, obviously he's not afraid of Tandy, has been stated. But she basically tells him, like, you need to be afraid, like, I need to go in and try to get Mary out. Again, I'm just going to call her Mary. I don't really give a fuck. So, she went inside him.
Pause.
And she ends up finding, like, change and, like, blood on the ground, Kind of suspicious, kind of weird. And then she eventually goes up to this Roxxon gas station, to where she sees little Tyrone, who has many names in this situation. I did not write them down. Do not come for me. And he basically is telling her, like, if you want to get her out, the half of her that is still there, you basically need to work together to get out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, of course, she's asking questions like, what the hell do I do? Trying to look through, like, the, tourists when they go up and they look through those little binocular-looking hole machine things where you put the coin in and you can look for, like, a minute and it goes blank. Yeah, those things. Basically, he's trying to figure, it's like, well, I don't have anything. Like, how the hell am I supposed to use this? And basically, she had to give up, her powers to basically proceed to where the payment was her dagger. In the process, the receipt that she receives is a coin. One side has her dagger. The other side has the oh no. which led to Tyrone also losing his powers, which again we kind of discussed a little bit. Well, as she keeps following the blood trail to go to the next thing, she ends up finding Mary because she ended up attacking her, I think with a chair. I didn't really look too far into it. Basically tells her to get lost, and she's like, well, if you want to get out, you need me, and she's like, honey, there's no way to get out, and whatnot. Which then you see these mirrors, and she's like, see, like, there's mirrors here, this is where it ends. Like, these mirrors don't show anything. Well, no reflection. When Tandy walks up, you see older versions of Tandy, like back to her when she was, like, in her ballerina outfit. Excuse me. Her when she was, like, in her ballerina outfit. My goodness, I can't say ballerina without hiccuping. In her ballerina outfit, you see her, like, in some of her, like, pretty clothes, I guess, when she, like, quote-unquote goes undercover type stuff. Just different variations of Tandy that we've seen throughout season 1, probably. Well, she ends up somehow connecting to one of them, and it basically transforms them to a new location. Which you go to a record store. Woo! Music! Let's party. Inside this record store, you see a bunch of records. Duh, the record store. Hello. Where it has a bunch of random girls on them. and female name. Come to find out, those are the girls that were taken, that are missing. So as her and Mary are talking about the situation, Tandy notices that she sees a section with her name on it. So she's looking through them. 3 of those records were still sealed up. They're still wrapped up. So Mary's like, what the hell are these still wrapped up for? And Tandy's like, I don't fucking know. So Mary ends up grabbing one of them to where she puts it into the record player to play it. And it's a beautiful cover of Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. And it basically shows like Tandy and her Tandy's parents like bringing Tandy home as a baby and them arguing. She ends up stopping the record, and Tandy's like, "Fuck it, let's put the next one in." To where again, it's more of Tandy's parents fighting, and she's like listening to headphones and trying to distract herself so she doesn't have to hear her parents fighting. To where she starts to kind of lose it a little bit, and she wants to just listen to the third record to see like what the fuck that one is. Where Mary basically tells her like, "You don't need to listen to that. Like, you don't need this." Well, of course, Tandy being Tandy, she fucking does anyway. And basically, her mom is trying to bring her somewhere. She can't find the keys. As Tandy waits for her, her parents start arguing yet again, and Tandy just takes off. To where Tandy takes the record and smashes it of pure anger. Tries to tell Mary that it's time to fucking go, but Mary takes off. Because we also find out that sure enough, Connors is in here. As we know, because he went inside Tyrone, whatever. Pause.
You beat me to it.
You're welcome. So, they're fighting, Mary and Connors, because obviously Mary wants to kill Connors. To where we're all triggered by how she was trying to do. Well, all of a sudden, Tandy starts trying to throw punches at Mary, and she gets her dagger back. Which we all know that means Tyrone got his powers back too, but he just doesn't know it yet. So they're fighting, and then all of a sudden they all get teleported to the church, to where we see Mary somehow missing, but Connors takes off. So they're all back, but then it just ends it there.
So I'm pretty sure you guys are like, but wait, how is there a third storyline? Well, like I was trying to say, the Uptown Block Kings is the third story, because now they're getting more bold, and they're going to be trying to come after Cloak, because this is a budding storyline that's actually the trickle effect of earlier episodes. Why? Because Bridget wasn't any fucking help. And the police department was as useless as ever. Because if they asses was actually doing their real job, Tyrone wouldn't be in trouble right now. But we're going to apparently blame Ty for doing their job. Like, that's the whole crux right now. Ty's the bad guy to start these problems because NOLA PD couldn't be bothered to stop these people from making communities worse because they're like, oh, but we don't have enough evidence. There are families that are ruined. There are adverse effects throughout the city. There are guns and drugs that you can actually find markers from the materials, as well as watching corner boys, as well as runners do their job by using the surveillance cameras that are littered throughout certain streets of New Orleans. You have enough undercover people in Vice. You have the evidence. You're just letting the crimes happen. Shut the fuck up. But we're just going to ignore that and blame an 18-year-old for trying to do the job the police never did. Which, again, surprised the shit out of me, where I was like, oh my god, Shan, we were right. They are 18.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the episode Rabbit Hold, where it's a lot because it's building up a lot of different storylines because the music store is very important for what it is in the Dark Force, and all the stuff involving the gang activity that's happening in real time at the same time, that's also prevalent, but also the development between Cloak and Dagger's abilities from going from bumbling kids that didn't know anything to realized adults that are trying to get a handle on things and really develop as people. This is a big stepping stone, and what's going to happen next hinges on these 4 episodes alone. But regardless of that, this is, of course, Shan's first time seeing this. So, what were your thoughts about the episode Rabbit Hold?
I actually kind of enjoyed this episode only because, for one, I'm really excited to see Tyrone actually talk to his mom for once, you know? I feel like he really needed that. And just the whole thing of, like, Tandy, like, actually trying to get, you know, be a good person and, like, get to the bottom of this shit and try to fix things, but also still trying to possibly figure out, like, where the fuck the girls are going and, like, what's going on and why they're doing this, and basically just trying to get answers. So I really enjoyed, like, that aspect of the episode, but I'm just intrigued on where Mary went from here on out. So
all I'm going to say is she'll come back, just not in the way you're expecting.
Okay.
But until then, we gotta gear up for the next episode, which is, as soon as I scroll down a little bit, alignment chart. That thing that I am allergic to because it is a stupid, outdated thing for a TTRPG. But we're gonna save all of my vitriol for the title another day. So, I hope you guys have been enjoying the first 4 episodes because, man, oh man, does this get harder and a lot more darker and a lot more heavily fucked up with each passing episode. If you thought Season 1 was heavy with the topics, you haven't seen shit when it comes to a whole season involving sex trafficking and how the various things of various elements really make you very uncomfortable if you're a female audience member or a parent, which is just 2 sides of the same coin in this review show right now. But we'll cover that and more next time.